What's happening, team? Hope it just finds everybody well. Welcome back to the Built for Pressure podcast with me, Will Foden. Today, do things a little bit different. Currently out in the absolute glorious sunshine of basically where I live, and decided to take the weapon that is the dog, which if you're watching this video you can't see, out for a swim, me included. Today's episode, I'm gonna do three things. I'm gonna go over me personally, what I'm actually gonna be working on heading into the back of Q1. I'm gonna talk around actually how I've decompressed and what I'm doing currently right now in relation to sharpen the blade of my performance, and vice versa, keeping things open and honest, talking about some developments that are happening inside of my company that I'm working on, not only from a mission standpoint, but also that I know is going to absolutely change the game. I'm putting this podcast out right now, following a post that I did today about an amazing client of mine, Anna. And I think over the last couple of weeks, especially heading into from Dubai and from even beforehand, January and through to February, the amount of people that I'm getting to know who are meeting their bottleneck from their capacity is huge. And it's not from a case of resilience, it's not a case around discipline, it's not a case around motivation, it's a case around an unstable system. What do I mean by that? Most people that I operate with when it comes down to business leadership are cooking on gas, they're highly driven, and they're extremely successful in whatever regard that it is. The reason why they get frustrated though, it's not from what it seems. Most people think burnout is a psychological problem, where the reality is people have forgotten that everything stems from physiology. And for me, what I've decided to do heading into the back end of this year and beyond is actually give CEOs, executives, entrepreneurs the keys to their car back with their physiology, to understand what it means for their physiology and their neurology to meet their psychology, to optimally give them clear decision making, focused energy, and actually give them a mind and body and business that they can work alongside rather than feel like it's absolutely running them over. Now, if you're a high achieving individual, burnout comes in three different places. From a physiological standpoint, you're looking at metrics crumbling in relation, you can never get your HRV back, your resting heart rate's high, your digestion's poor. From a psychological standpoint, your mood is terrible, your libido's low, and actually you just got this underlying feeling like you cannot take your foot off the gas. And lastly, from an emotional standpoint, everything is a firefight, everything is attack. Everything means you have to attack it with absolutely all your force, and it feels fucking exhausting. In Anna's case, this is very similar. Absolute legend, pushes her physical limits in CrossFit. She's absolutely a force to be reckoned with when it comes down to being a director inside her business and wanting to push her business and her team into its limit. And when she came into my the word presence comes to mind, but I don't know why I'm saying presence, into Built for Pressure, everything looked great on the sort of outside looking in. But from a deep dive and diagnostic and where she was at, the reality is that she just didn't feel like she could stop, because that feeling of stop gave her two feelings. Guilt and a bit, I don't like the word shame. Shame sounds like that. What's that off fucking, off Lord of the Rings? Shame. I'm gonna get that one later. But the Game of Thrones, that's the one. But actually, the bigger feeling that she had was if she took a step back, she was losing. Now, what most people do when it comes down to their performance is they think that actually acceleration is the only way for them to actually progress. Where when it comes to a certain level, it's not actually about your accelerator that matters. It's about how you actually use your handbrake. I use this in a current discovery call where most executives, CEOs or whoever, they actually act like a dodgem. They put their pedal to the metal and they attack everything, not worried about the collateral damage, where the reality is that if you're asking to be an F1 car, an F1 car, the most important part of an F1 car are the tyres and the brakes. The accelerator is a given. So my point being, most executives who are struggling, it's not an accelerator you're looking for. What you're looking for is learning how to change gears and when to use your handbrake, because that's the key. Now, when it comes down to Built for Pressure, for a long period of time, I never really could articulate what I did very well. Whether it was physical performance, whether it was mental performance, whether it was leadership performance, whether it was executive performance, whether it was in-person high performance, whatever it was, there was so much more at play. Because the reality is that high performance is actually encompassing, it's a full governance protocol. It encompasses everything. Everything with your body affects your mind. Everything with your mind affects your body. Everything with your decision making affects your business. Everything with your business affects your decision making, physiology and neurology, etc., etc. And that's why I became frustrated. If you're listening to this, you'll be the first to know I've invested heavily into heading towards into human wellness through a human performance standpoint. I've actually paid and working alongside Phil Lerney on purpose. The reason why he's a leader in my space. Built for Pressure is a performance partner for leaders who have to operate in environments that are high pressure in general. Doesn't matter what field that it's in, executives, CEOs, entrepreneurs who are growing businesses. You don't just need somebody to look after your fitness. You don't just need someone to look after your mental capacity. You don't just need someone to tell you what behaviors to do. You need someone to be ahead of the curve when it comes down to crisis moments, showing you in relation to how to become more self-aware and how your physiology is dictating your psychology. That is the name of the game. And that's why I've been frustrated. Because actually how to articulate that, how to deliver that, and what that actually looks like on paper has been a huge driver for me over the last 18 months. Now, we've got some new pieces of the puzzle when it comes down to our core program, our performance partner program, and I've actually developed a crisis and burnout program, because what most people who are experiencing burnout is they're just looking at everything through a straw. And in that context, they don't understand the levers they need to pull to alleviate that level of pressure. Now, what most people do is they give you fucking stupid wushu frameworks with no context of understanding, where they seek to understand, then be understood. My job and your job in that scenario is not to be educated about the weather. You need someone to tell you exactly what to fucking do. So that's what that crisis thing is for. But stay tuned. I'm actually going to do a full podcast around that executive performance piece, because I feel that is where the meat and potatoes lies. Because many people will talk around peak performance, many people will talk around athletic performance, many people will talk around elite level outcomes. But the reality is that if you're driving for peak performance and you're not in a place where you're optimized across the board with your mind, body, and how you're operating inside your business, you're never actually going to win this game. You're never actually going to be in the position where you feel confident and comfortable being inside of challenge without feeling chaotic, like you're losing yourself, or more to the point, you're breaking in the process. So that is the name of the game when it comes down to this piece of that puzzle. And then lastly, as mentioned, the next steps for Built for Pressure. We are developing an executive performance diagnostic. This is encompassing 20 years of me working in the human performance space. I'm literally putting absolutely everything that I've got in developing a process and a piece of software that the people that I work with are not only going to be able to manage and measure their current performance. What they're going to be able to actually do is see what the data is doing, so they can objectively and subjectively understand their behaviors around what they're doing that alleviates that level of pressure. Because the reality is, the name of the game is only going to get faster. People want more. They want to dominate more. They want to make more money. They want to have more impact. They want to have more freedom. They want more. But what they don't understand and what they forget are your standards are what sets the ceiling. And for me, in April, I'm actually delivering a workshop about the corporate athlete to the ladies and gentlemen inside of the Rise platform for Deep Sky. You'll find the note. I'll put it in the show notes. If you're a business executive, leader, CEO who's operating with a team under pressure, I'd strongly recommend that you grab a ticket to this. If you would like a ticket, I'm offering out 5 free tickets for those that are curious about what it's about, because this thing is not about that. That's not where the biggest take homes will come from. That's going to show you exactly what it means to be a corporate athlete, understanding the mechanics when it comes down to how you have to operate to optimize yourself inside of your business, so you can actually find leverage in times that matter. But more so, it's going to give you an open window in relation to how I operate, what that actually means inside Built for Pressure. And more so, if you're looking to dominate across the board, you don't just need something generic. And that's something that I can guarantee. I have specialized and gone narrow and deep in what it takes to lead at the front when it comes down to you, your business, and the people that you work with. And I'm going to show you it. So anyway, I digress. A little bit of a waffle from me. I thought I was actually hearing my dog choking on a tennis ball knob. I'd love to, if you are listening to this episode or you are watching this, I'd love you to connect with me. The reason why, this space is becoming more and more crowded, noisy, and especially when it comes down to delivering media, the name of the game is just knowing that people are resonating with it. I don't want to live on my phone. I don't want this to be the only thing that I connect with somebody with. I will see you in person. If you're in the UK, we've got some mountain trips coming up, Edel, the Lake District, and Snowdon. I'm actually picking a 3 Peaks Challenge too, which you're going to be more than welcome to if you're of like-minded nature. Vice versa, if you're internationally, we have got things. We're not happening in Dubai at the moment for obvious reasons, but we have got things incoming when it comes down to Singapore and Southeast Asia. So anyway, I digress. I appreciate you taking the time. Again, sorry I didn't get this out on Monday, but things have been a little bit carnage. Boy was 2 this weekend and took him to the zoo. Absolute elite level techers. And if you're in the UK, Chester Zoo is Nang. Appreciate you taking the time, and I'll catch you soon.